You take Elliot.
Hey guys, we love that you joined our community over here on the Flip Flop Flipper, and we're so proud that we're the fastest growing real estate investor groups on the entire platform. But here's the truth. The difference from being in the free group, the Flip Flop Flipper, and coming over to Apex, we're actually doing deals there. And in the short time that we've had the community, we've done several $1 million worth of real estate transactions. And I personally know of at least 18 or 20 deals that have happened. We just finished our first ever coffee and bus tour. And out of that, I'm already in conversations with 3 or 4 different groups of people that are going to do real estate deals together. We just want to be a part of your real estate investing story. And the difference between being in the Flip Flop Flipper community and being in the Apex community, Apex is actually get done. We're doers over there. So if you want to go from being a wanna-doer to actually being a doer, click the button. Let's go. Join Apex.
Click the button.
Let's retire
Click the
that.
button.
There's got to be a better
welcome
ad.
to the Tuesday night real-time deal analysis with the Flip Flop Flipper and friends.
Flip flop. Yeah, seriously.
Flip Flop Flipper deal analysis Tuesday night.
Every time this couch just gets a little smaller.
Yeah, we're gonna need a bigger studio. Well, and actually, guys, we're bringing on a new person of Apex. He's been a member for 30 seconds. 30 seconds. His name's Nelson.
30 seconds.
He's got 3,000 square feet of commercial property in San Juan that we could turn into a studio.
Wow. All right.
Could be cool.
My
But
God.
1st
Let's
things first. Welcome to the show, guys. Today we're going to be analyzing deals. Our first deal is going to be live in the studio with Emmanuel. And what we want to do on the show is we're bringing up Apex members. They're going to talk about real deals that they're trying to do in real time. And we're going to give our thoughts and opinions. To everyone in the studio, can you put in the studio chat if you have a deal and you want to come up to present? And if you're in the studio and you don't have a deal, please watch from YouTube because they cap us on how many people can be in the studio. We're trying to figure out how to make that bigger, but we're real estate guys, not tech guys. All right.
We'll get there. We're getting better. I think we're more prepared for this deal flipping analysis thing than we've ever done before. And it's going to be a great one, guys.
Great time.
Deal flipping thing.
Deal flipping thing.
We really need a name, you guys. We need a new ad and we need a name. So help a brother out. What should we call the Tuesday night thing that just rolls off the tongue? Put it in the chat. Give us your best name. And if you're on YouTube, hit the like button.
Dealmaker Tuesday. Is that what you call it?
Dealmaker Tuesday could be.
That's what I've been calling it, is Dealmaker Tuesday.
I like Dealmaker Tuesday.
Yeah, Dealmaker Tuesday's not bad. Emmanuel, you ready to go? Oh,
Yeah,
there
I
it
mean,
is.
yes, hold up.
Look at this house that Emmanuel's got in Calle
So-
off of the Pork Road.
I have this lead. It's in Calle in the Pueblo, and they're asking $30K.
They're asking
Whoa.
$30,000.
I'm gonna try and get it for a little bit less, just so I can make some money, and whoever's buying it doesn't have to pay a lot more.
Do we know what it's worth fixed up?
I have no idea. You said we were gonna pull comps. We can do that.
Can we pull comps it on?
You could pull comps in your phone if you want to, but I think it's gonna be hard on the computer, right?
I am the only tech savvy person.
I'm sorry.
Also, it's a pretty big house.
I'm kind of tech savvy, but
It's a big house, and I think that it's in a pretty good area of Calle.
Yeah, on
This is the
Port
problem.
Road.
This is the
Look at
only
that.
problem.
This is the
Look at
problem
this.
right there. You can
Yeah.
see the other
big
part
at
of the world through
really
the hole in
big
the
crack.
And the way that it's diagonal like that makes me think it's foundational.
It's a scary crack.
Is it sliding? Yeah, look, it's on the bottom too. That's a very scary crack. Is it falling off the mountain? Is that the issue here?
No,
Crack is scary.
no. It's in the Pueblo. It's not even in a hill or anything. It's just the house.
Just
Yeah, but
poor
crack
workmanship.
kills, you guys. Everybody thinks crack's going to
Crack
be fun,
kills.
and then cracks can kill.
That's right.
There's a Google Maps you can land the little guy.
I certainly think the price is right. And up until I saw the giant 3-inch crack where we could see sunlight coming through, I would say that was a deal that's worth doing probably.
What if you get it for $12,000?
I think it matters. You need to make sure you can fix the crack, and it doesn't really matter if you get it for 12 or 30, as long as it's worth 150 or so.
Do we have a
And you can
contractor
fix it.
in the chat who can give us like a verbal? Yeah, you can fix it.
You have to go see it. You have to really go physically and see it.
Yeah. Those types of cracks are bad.
That doesn't mean it can't be fixed.
It doesn't mean it can't be
We've
fixed.
fixed bad things before.
Yeah.
but
I
think
mean, even if
that's
fixing
the
it
most
means
important part
you-
of your deal, it's not the price. Usually, it's the price.
Usually,
In this case, the most important part of the deal is
Can
can
you
it be
fix it?
fixed?
Yeah.
Well, so
Because-
worst case, right? What would you have to do? The very worst case is you take the roof off and you rebuild 2 walls, and then you put the roof back on. That would cost you like, I don't know, if you're doing that all with manpower, 40 grand, 30 grand. So
no,
you-
no.
Adon thinks more.
Yes.
I think if you cut a hole in the roof and remove it, and then
Digamos
completely,
que quitar un canto.
So let's look at the comps and see if it's worth exploring. Because if this house has an after repaired value of $150,000 to $200,000, then it's definitely worth exploring further. If this house has an after repaired value of $50,000, then you don't have to ever go out there and look at it, and you just say no.
yeah,
Just say no to crack.
man, it's everywhere.
Yeah, crack is a real problem.
That is crazy, man. That's probably the worst house crack I've ever seen in my life. That is crazy.
Wow, thank you for making me feel so good about it.
I see a lot of these too, man. That is
And we fix
incredible.
things a lot. It takes a
Yeah.
lot to
It's
not think
cheap
you can.
for a reason, right?
Crack
No.
kills. Crack is bad.
Crack kills.
I think the comps are key here.
Yeah. Is it on pulling them up now?
We got our tech guy working on it, but he's having some performance issues here.
Uh-oh. Well, what
got
do we
a
know
shy
about
internet.
Rinse and Kaye? Dad, have you ever done a deal in Kaye?
No, the only thing I've ever bought in Kaye was some really good barbecue.
I have something else in Kaye if you guys want to see it as well.
I've never done a deal in Kaye. You know, McKenna, Kaye is the mountains. I don't like the mountains that much.
Yep. I wonder, can we just pull up what's for sale in Kaye on Zillow? Let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
why
you
not
could check.
do
Zillow.
that. That's I
I don't know how good Zillow is.
Don's got the in
How do you spell
the find
Kaye?
it.
Oh, estamos en el borró.
CAYYEY.
Y? Yeah. Kaye.
Kaye, motherfucker.
Kaye.
We're having a slow start to this one, guys, but we're just trying to gather our information to give real good.
Well, I mean,
info.
obviously, if you've got enough value after repairs, the price is right.
Okay, so it's in the Pueblo.
Yeah.
Okay, I see a lot for sale for $65,000.
A
I
vacant
see
lot.
another lot for sale for $85,000. Both
How about
are
houses?
no houses, just land. So that's kind of interesting. Then I see a horrible multifamily piece of shit for sale for $130,000. Let me see if I can stream this.
I know this one. I've seen this one so many times and it hasn't sold.
Give the mic to Adon.
2 seconds. Thank you for.
Are you showing
Holding
your
the mic.
screen?
I'm about to.
Okay,
Oh, you're showing yours. All right.
I'm showing mine, but you
I'm gonna
can
show
take it
mine.
back. I'm just looking. There's a lot of lots for sale for that 60 to 70,000. Here's another lot for sale for 73,000.
All right. So this is where the house is right here. You see my mic? You see my
Cursor.
the thing? All right. So the house. So how many? You know how many bedrooms it was? This is the house right here.
Well, what's that one for 55,000? Is that renovated?
These are all recently sold.
It looks
This one
renovated.
sold 2023 for 55,000.
That's too nice. Holy cow, that was a
I
deal.
think it's tiny, but even if it's tiny,
That's really tiny.
That's a good looking house though for 55 grand.
61,000, and this is all in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So this is probably how this house is supposed to look.
All right, off of these two comps,
Yep.
I already don't want it.
Unless you see something way different in the next comp, I would just throw this one
Nope.
back. This is like
It's an
it's
ugly
like
fish.
catching a fish that doesn't meet the slot. You don't keep it. Throw
Yep.
it back.
This is a bad deal.
Yeah, it's not good. Even if
And,
they
and so
gave it
for
to
the
you.
people that are watching that don't know why we immediately think that, we use the 70% rule, right? So we want ARV times 0.7
Nothing goes over 100.
and nothing goes over 100. So that means that you take, let's just say it could be worth 100,000 if it was fixed up. Then you times it by 0.7, that gives you 70,000. Then you need to subtract out your repairs. With that giant crack and all of the other work you need to do, you're probably spending 70,000.
Yep.
Like I am close to saying I don't even want this house for free.
No, I'm there. I wouldn't take the house for free.
Which is crazy because I mean, who doesn't want a free house? But it is a
Bad.
problem. You're gonna have to pay
I would
taxes on
probably
it.
take it for free because as a wholesaler like Emmanuel, you could probably sell it for a few grand to somebody.
Yeah, you could do a seller financing to someone that wants to live in it for $20.
Yeah. Sometimes they're so bad you just got to say no. This one is an easy say no to, guys. So I'm glad we started with that one. Now maybe the next one will be a good deal.
Yep.
We need a little like.
We
sound
lost
effect.
Elliot. Elliot, are you
Please.
still here?
I think Adon did Adon boot Elliot out of the thing?
No, I didn't boot him out. He booted himself out.
Oh man.
He was there. Why would I throw him out? I love Kaye, but that was terrible.
Oh, Elliot's back.
There's some beautiful houses that I've sold for close to 250 and more. Probably more. There's mansions up there, but you know they're either on the ridge. They look really, really nice. But nothing like that.
Okay.
That was pretty bad.
Hey guys, I've got Elliot here.
Elliot,
how's it
you're
going,
muted.
man?
Guys, I'm back on. Can you hear me good?
Yes.
Hey Elliot, we hear you good.
Okay, listen, I'm connected from my phone. I tried the laptop thing. It doesn't work out. For some reason, StreamYard is not working for me. I sent the link. I put together a presentation. I put the link in the school chat where you put the link for the
I've
live
got it
stream.
here. It says that I need access. Can you give me edit access?
Oh man, okay. All right, I'm gonna try something different. Let me see if I.
All you have to do is go to Google and
Yep.
just on the permissions for sharing, just change it to everybody.
Okay, let me.
Robert
do that
knows how to
right
do
as
that.
we speak.
Can't do it.
I
And
know.
as we speak, let me see.
And there's
if I
18
can-
people watching while he does that, and we should have 18 likes. And no one turns on the AC now. We're all gonna die in here.
I'll get
Love
the AC. Hold on.
Okay,
We've got
hold on.
11 likes out of 18. Not terrible, but it
What
could
was it?
be 9 more.
Could be better.
Could be better.
Hit the constant
Okay.
button. Just hold it. Hold it down.
Access,
No, you turned it off.
Turn it on, and then the constant button.
There's a constant. If not, it'll shut off.
Constant. Say CO.
Okay, I put that anyone with the link can access
CON.
it. Maybe you can try it again. Sorry about that.
Okay, let me refresh. I've got it here.
It almost
Okay.
sounds like your sugar monitor.
Let me share my screen. And then Elliot, I'll just go through and you can talk us through it.
Sure.
Awesome. So guys, we've got multifamily proposal, Elliot Charles.
Okay, so
All
yeah,
copyrights.
basically.
Oh, my
this is
wife
a
sent me this
property.
one.
It is located in it's called Las Lomas. That's in the area of Guaynabo. It's a multifamily. The owner seems like to be like an elderly woman. She's trying to sell her properties. This is one of them. 2-story, 7 units. Right. The breakdown is on the slide right there. She's selling for $270. Right. They're more inclined to a traditional sale or a cash offer. I spoke with the realtor yesterday, and according to the realtor, the drop dead price is $225. Not willing to go below that.
That's a big drop.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, I stopped by the property yesterday and this morning. They have two carports, right, with gates and everything. What can I say? It's generating, according to the realtor, it's generating 3,300. The numbers kind of iffy for me because if it has 7 units, let's say an average of maybe $500-$600 a unit, right? It should be at least bringing in 3,500, you know, to 4 grand,
Yeah,
maybe.
what they're saying is 470 per unit.
Yep.
That seems
Yep.
very low.
Very low, and
And Las Lomas
the
especially.
power and water is just 1 meter. So you know, I don't know how they're doing it.
So you would have to pay for it as the
Yep.
owner.
Yep.
How occupied is it? How many units are vacant versus how many are occupied?
I think that's on the following slide. 6
I
out of
see
7 are
vacancy.
occupied.
1 of 7 lived by owner.
Yeah. The owner is living one of them. Which one exactly? I'm not certain. So that's what I proposed to the previous slide, right? That's what I proposed to the realtor. It's like a table, like an Excel.
This one here.
Yeah. I don't know if you could see it well, but basically, I put on the table. It's 3 rows. The first one is the basic selling price, right? The original offer, and the following, I think I did a cash offer for maybe 210, followed by a seller finance. I don't know if you can see the details on there.
Yeah, you've got
280.
30,000 down, 0% interest, payment of 631, a 7-year term, and a balloon of 207 years. That's a great deal if they said yes to that.
Do you have a pin for this property? Pin location?
I don't have a pin right now, but I put the coordinates on the first slide.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could paste it copy it from there.
That was
And
a good deal.
Let's see if I can.
Problem is separating the meters.
Well, I like the building a lot. I like the area also a lot. I
Here's
want to
the
tell
area
you,
on the map.
it's very convenient. You know, it's the location
Very
is
close to Guanabo.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
very
think I
centric.
even have a 7 unit in Los Lomas.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Capera Terrace.
It's near Capera Terrace. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one called Los Lomas, 7 units. We bought our 7 units a few years ago, and I guess times have changed because our 7 units cost
50 grand.
60 grand.
Okay.
Here's
How much are the
property
rents
on the
going
street view.
for, guys? About how much would be a reasonable price for the? There you go, to the left. It has like a big tree in front of it.
Yep.
Looks better on this picture
That
than
one
the
right
one you
there.
showed us.
Yep, that one. That's the
Yeah,
one.
that's a pretty good looking building. So our rents are about 700 per unit. 700.
Okay, that's just the rent,
times
the
6.
water and electricity.
So we get 700 times 6, and I believe we get 400. We've got a little tiny efficiency. So I think we're bringing in like $4,600 a month, and we pay for power and water for everybody
Couple grand.
on that.
What would be a healthy number for power and water for those 7 units? I mean,
Well, I think
Probably about $1,000 a month for power and water is what I'm guessing.
because you don't have ACs. You don't.
No,
have
I mean it's bare bones, guys. It's just regular working class neighborhood working.
because there's no ACs.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have no
that
ACs,
can
no
maybe mess up
washing
the
machines.
numbers.
What's that?
That now that I have that information, because I used the calculator, right? That's on the last slide, but I put like 650 for utilities, which is like too low. I don't know if you can see that there actually.
We can, yeah. Yeah, you've got 3,300 in income, 2,500 in operating expenses.
You can zoom in, right, McCann?
I cannot. I don't think.
Make the screen bigger.
This is all we get.
Damn it.
Sorry, guys. You got to get a bigger screen on your end. It's huge over here.
Yeah, maybe if we make some money one day, we'll be able to put a 100-inch TV in
Maybe.
here.
Insurance, you've got
Won't be able
100.
to.
Property tax, you got 110. You got a payment of 650. This operating expenses, where are you getting the 2,500 from?
What was that again? The occupancy you said?
The operating.
Vacancy 15%, todo eso.
Yeah, no, the operating cost. What it does is just adds up the capex, all of these costs associated with operating it, management. I estimated, right, a management fee of I'm not sure if I can see it right here. Give it
10%.
10%. Capex 8%, maybe it's too much, and then a vacancy rate of 15%. I mean, that's considering one of the units is empty. I don't know if that's accurate, right? But that's what we're here for.
Yeah. So what's your total yearly expense? About 30%.
Monthly.
Okay, let me
The
see.
operating expenses seem very high to me. I'm not seeing on this sheet where that's being calculated.
What was that?
Well, it says rent revenue, and then it goes down.
Yeah, I mean, it's just based on.
They
I mean,
can't
it's just
see you, Emmanuel.
A year. Everything else is expensive. So you have 260. So look, McKenna, look, where it says cash on cash return.
Yeah.
It says rental revenue annual is how much you're going to be making a year, and then monthly is how much you're making a month. This outline red, and then everything below that is how much you're spending a month, right? So you have
and then the operating expense is
Yeah,
added in.
exactly. So it's already added in there.
It's just like up at the top.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got principal and interest. So you're including the capex. I'd probably take the capex out of operating expense. Then you've got insurance, taxes. Do you have the capex twice when you have other lose that's light and water? Okay, for 6.
Yeah, light and water. That's the one that I tried to estimate, but I think it's pretty low. You know, if you have 7 units and you said more or less, it's like $1,000. Well, I think I just estimated too little.
And your vacancies may be high too.
Probably. I mean, yeah, we could work with those numbers.
I don't think it's. I actually like the deal though at 3,300 even. If you can buy it for 225, it meets the 1% rule, which I like for rentals. Using the numbers that we have here, that has you bringing in $720 a month in profit. So that'd be $8,640 a year, which is a return of 4% a year, not including any appreciation. But if you can then increase your rents to $4,500 minus that, let's call it $3,000 for lights and water. Then you're at $1,500 a month. Then you're making $18,000 a year, and that gives you an 8% return.
There's definitely room for
what kind of return, McKenna?
8%.
8%.
8%.
8%.
8%.
And you like that?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't do it. Not for 8%. Now, 8%, I think Elliot
is not good enough.
Here is the financing. Well, actually, guys, so if we've got principal and interest, that's an all cash deal. So we need to take out that principal and interest if we're paying cash. So if we were making $1,500, but then you add back in that $631 a month, that's $2,131 a month. 225. That's an 11.3% return if you pay all cash.
Yeah, I gotta say it's a better looking building than the multi-unit that I have in the neighborhood. And I'm looking at the map there. Mine's, you could walk to my house from it. Your building that you're looking at is a better looking building. I like the layout of mine better because I have bigger units. I will tell you about the area that we have never had a problem renting there. Like, so if something goes vacant, it gets rented immediately. So just on your numbers there with the 15% occupancy rate, I
We could probably
believe
just scratch that.
that over like a 3 or 4 year period of time that I've owned in the neighborhood, we run at 95% occupied. So things
Okay.
go vacant for a little while, but they're immediately re-rented. Like
Okay.
right now, everything is rented in our building, and it's been that way for a year, I think. So I think you can make more money than you're actually giving the deal credit for. But I like to buy on those the numbers that you use, right? That's what you want to make sure you're getting a good deal on a worst case scenario, and then you do better, and that's good for you.
Yeah, I thought maybe it's a bit conservative.
I think being conservative is good when you buy. So the issues that I have, I don't like the building, buying it occupied with the low rents. That's, to me, that's not great.
It's a
I'd
challenge,
almost
right?
rather buy a vacant building that looks like that and then rent it out at the better rent rate. Although, you know, there is something to be said about having cash flow from day one and then just raising the rents over time. I get that. But to me, the $220,000 just seems a bit high. What do you think?
220 seems high.
I think if you can keep the rents high, you can start making that number make sense.
I think the rents are too low, guys. What do you guys think?
Say that again, Elliot.
It seems like the rents are too low, right? Given that there are 7 units and you know, light, water, and power is included. I think they're too low.
Yeah, that's
I-
way
I
too
think
low.
your rent should be about $700 a month on average.
But then
You're
again,
going to
I
get a
see some
little bit
opportunity
more
in
for the
that.
3-bedroom and the 2-bedroom, 2-bath. You're going to get a little bit less for the 1-bedrooms. Are there small efficiencies? It looks like a pretty big building. So
Yeah.
And
How
are
much
these
would
Section
be-
8 rents or are these private rents?
You know what? I'm retarded. I should have asked. Sorry about that. Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
I'll
I would ask them see if it is. It's probably not because Section 8 goes up every year. No, they would pay you. They would.
no,
adjust.
Section 8 definitely does not go up every year. You have to request for it.
You have to, yeah,
even
you
if
have to put in a
they've
request.
raised the Section 8 levels, you
So
have to put in the request.
I would ask.
Yeah, a lot.
I would ask if they do. And have you seen any photos of the units inside?
No photos. I have
Then-
to, I have to
then
get,
I would-
get back in touch.
I would make my offer way lower, and then just say, hey, once I get to see it, maybe we could change. I mean, I could change my opinion, but if I'm not able to see what condition the building's in, I don't. You know, it's hard
So,
to buy.
let me
I
ask
don't
you a
see it.
couple of
Definitely need
questions.
to walk through before you purchase it.
Yeah, of course
Yeah.
he's going to see it before.
Oh
he
no,
purchases
of
it.
course, yeah.
Elliot, are
Should
you a
be-
cash buyer on something like this, or would you be looking to come to the Apex community to raise the money and find partners?
Oh, I don't have the money for it. I'm gonna be honest from the jump. I would have to raise the capital.
So,
So-
if you're gonna, yeah, go ahead, Dad.
So if you're going to raise the capital on it, and I talked to Mario earlier about a very similar project, and if let's say you're buying it at a 12 cap, but then you're going to come to our group and say, hey, I need someone to put up the money and I'll split it with you. Now someone's only making 5 or 6% interest on their money annually. It's going to be a very hard raise. So you have to make the offer at a level where I think you need to be in that 20% per year, so that when you're splitting it, if you're asking someone to put up the money, they're at least making a double-digit return, 10% plus.
When you say
Ideally,
the-
ideally
put the money-
you negotiate on the low rents that she's got now, and then you raise them over time. So it's a significantly lower purchase price for me if you're going to be looking to come to the community and find partners. Otherwise, you're going to have a really hard time finding partners. If you've got some money to put in it, you could find someone that would give you like a hard money loan, but then you won't make any money. So it's really, you guys, all about the purchase price. We say that all the time, right? But it's so important that if you're not buying it at a point where someone would be willing to put their money in with you, then you're just kind of spinning your wheels, I guess. I love the
How-
building and I love the area, and having owned a property there now for a few years. Actually, I've got a 3-unit around there too. So we own 10 units in or around the neighborhood. They're always rented. So it is a very good investment in that level. It's
Okay.
easy to rent. I don't like that it's occupied and that she's averaging like $400 a month rents. Maybe they're a little bit higher because she's living there and we're doing it across 7 and she's not
And it
she's
should
not
be
paying any rent,
profit.
obviously.
But anyways, let's do that. Let's the 3,300 divided by 6. How much would that be? 6, 12, 18, 24, 30.
So
like,
just
not
add,
even 500.
Yeah,
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 400.
it's not even $500.
not a lot.
it's
That's
550.
crazy.
And even if you raise the rents to 700, you're still looking at about like 14%. It's not nothing amazing once you take
Yeah.
everything out.
Right, and we're not even factoring in any cost to repair, right? So as tenants move out, you're
He
gonna
is
spend
factoring in,
$3,000 to $5,000 probably.
A unit.
I mean, easily every time someone moves out of it right now.
Mhm.
He's
If you're-
factoring in a monthly maintenance expense that he would save up and then spend as people moved out.
Okay,
Um,
but we do have a maintenance expense in there. but-
Vacancy.
Well,
I'd
let's
put in
let's
the-
see what
like
I would
8%.
offer cash. If just on the current numbers we have, 3,300. I'm gonna bump up the expense actually to like 2,800 because of the power and water. And I would ask them for books. They should provide receipts of how much they pay.
And that would be one thing that's very easy. She knows exactly what she's paying for power and water.
Yeah, I would ask.
Yeah, I asked the realtor, but they didn't know. They said they were gonna get back to me with that information, but it is something I asked. Yep.
So if you're pulling in a profit of 500 a month, which is my new calculation, that's 6,000 a year. I probably think you need to make more than 20% to go raise capital on it, but let's just say 20%. You need to buy it for 30 grand.
Wait, what?
Is that right?
I don't know.
You
How,
mean
how did you get?
purchase
How did you go
price?
from 3,300 a month down to $500 a month?
That's 3,300 minus 100 for insurance, 110 for property taxes, 950 for lights and water, 264 for the capex and maintenance, $330 for management, and $495 for vacancy. So some of those expenses are pretty high.
What if we put a
Oh,
5% for the
taxes are-
vacancy? Maybe.
So, well, let's just do that a 40% expense ratio if you want to
That's
do it that
easier.
way.
Yeah.
That would be 1320.
I did 30.
So that would be 2,000 a month in profit. Then you could pay 120,000.
Yeah, so you're
Like
pretty
20%.
far away. You're pretty far away at her asking price. So then, now, how do you make it a deal at her asking price? I think you've got to do a seller finance.
You got to do seller finance, and
And he
This
already
is-
offered that.
yeah, this
here.
is when I'm looking at deals like this, what I like to think of when because obviously you and I, we both don't have the money, right? We're gonna go and find a partner, raise the capital, right? So this is what you got to think, and this is how I think of it. Why would an investor go in on this with me? Is it a really good seller finance, or is it cash flowing so good that it's worth paying cash for, right? It's not just some other building which you could pay cash, but why? Right. So if it's really making good money, then maybe you could pay cash. Some people are into that, but what's the deal, right? So the really good deal is if you get that sort of finance accepted, right? She hasn't answered, right? So
No,
If-
not yet.
if she answers and she says that they're kind of thinking of it, then you got to push for it. Try and make questions about why aren't you accepting it? You want more? Why? Just play with it. But when I think of going to an investor, I'm like, why would he go in it? Why would he go in on it? Right? Is this a good deal? Would I pay for it cash? That's how I think of it. And if the answer is no, then you got to rethink every number, right? So
Yeah. So
and how could you entice someone to take your seller finance deal? One, you could explain to them that you don't make any money at their price. If you're giving them $250,000, it gets you no return. So not only are you not going to be able to do it, but really no one else is. Number two, it's going to be extremely difficult for them to sell it to someone who's going to go to the bank and finance this property. It's the wrong amount of units. It's the wrong amount of cash flow.
What could be the challenge?
It's just everything. It doesn't have the water meters. It doesn't have the power meters. It's going to be a difficult thing to get a bank to lend on it. So she's left with two options. And maybe you say, hey, look, I'll give you the $120,000 cash offer that McKenna talked about, or I'll give you, you're asking 225, I'll give you 250 with 10 or 15% down, and then just divide the rest of the money over 20 years and give her a 7-year balloon or something like that. That way you cash flow from day one, you have a small amount of money in it. And McKenna, you could redo the math on that.
Yeah, well, if you had a $30,000 down payment and you add on $631, your profit, so we were at $2,000 a month in profit on a 40% expense ratio.
Yeah, now it'd be $1,400.
1,400 times 12 divided by 30, you're crushing it. You're making a 56% return, Elliot, if she says yes to that. That's a hell of a deal.
And now you get the really nice house in a very good neighborhood. It cash flows from day one. And then you've got 7 years to figure out how to pay off that balloon payment when it comes due. And every single dollar that gets paid to her comes off of what you owe, and your tenants are paying that. And now it goes from extremely difficult to come to the community to get the money to a laydown. You bring that deal to the table, and people are going to line up at your door to partner with you.
Well, and here's another thing you could do. If you put 30,000 down to make, I said 56%, right? To make 16,800 a year, even if you give half of that away, that's $8,400 in profit a year. You get more than double your money out in 7 years. You can just give it back to her. You don't need an exit strategy. Now, will there be one? Yes. You'll be able to refi. You'll be able to sell it to someone else. There will be ways to get out of this loan, but it's such a good loan that it almost doesn't matter if you pay it off.
And you're going to have rents that are going to go up. You're going to have appreciation in the area. So
what would be a healthy number, like appreciation? Maybe 2-3% a year. Is that too low?
I think 3 to 4. It's hard though.
I'd be conservative. If you're thinking 3 to 4, I'd do 3. Go on the low end.
Okay, because my plan is to any property that I acquire. I want to improve, right? At least get it looking good. Little by little, do some improvements. I'm a pretty handy guy, so my plan would be that to improve it. Given the money that we have available.
What happened? I couldn't hear what Elliot said.
He's
Say it again, Elliot.
Improvements on the building as well.
I would
be careful, Elliot. Any improvements beyond maintenance could decrease your profit at the end of the day. It just
no, I mean like basic stuff like paint, that type of stuff. Pressure wash around. Just give it a facelift. Nothing big.
Yeah, I love that plan. Don't add a pool though.
No, not at all. We'll leave that for Rincon.
Yes, absolutely.
So guys, what was the number again, McKenna? I didn't catch you on that one. That you said that it would be a good deal.
Oh, damn it!
I think 120 cash is pretty interesting. I think the better deal is that financing deal you've made.
Yeah. Sure.
The financing offer that you already made, I think, is a slam dunk.
Because I proposed 280 in the financing, and the other one was the cash deal. But it was already at, I was like 210. Just
if they say yes to 210, I mean, it's a good exercise, right? If they say tomorrow, yes, we want to do 210. You could put it under contract and get a 20-day inspection period go try and raise the money and kind of have that exercise. But yeah, I think it would be difficult to raise capital.
And I would use this as a learning experience for the next one you're going to make an offer on, Elliot. That anchor price that you're going to offer, the low ball cash offer, it really needs to be that if they say yes to that it's a no-brainer. You don't have to think anymore. You just are going to, what I would say, run to the bank, because you're like, holy shit, they said yes to my number. That's unbelievable. If we're thinking about throwing it back at the $200,000 price, you offered way too much cash, and you want to use that anchor price to convince them to give you the terms, right? So that's really, you don't expect them to say yes to $120,000 cash, but you want that to be such a shocking number that if there's motivation there, now they're thinking, well, it's more reasonable for me to take the seller financed offer, and then the seller financing becomes the star of the deal, right? Like that becomes like what makes your deal so great.
And Elliot, I approach that too in a very, it depends if you have an emotional seller or if you have an analytical person. But I usually approach it based on the numbers. All of my lowball offers are not really that low because they're based on returns. Yep. So I just walk them through the math. I say, hey, you know that I'm an investor. I'm buying this to make money. You understand that, right? Well, I have to go raise capital for, I need to be able to pay 10% to my investor who's going to put up all the money. These are the numbers you gave me, 3,300. I've got these expenses. Do you think these expenses are reasonable? Does that match up with what you're doing? They'll say yes or no. And then you walk them through how you get to 120,000. And then it seems like, oh man, this dude he's not just pulling this number out of his ass.
He knows his numbers. Yeah.
But also, I could pay you more money if we were able to do terms. Like, hey, I hate how low this number is. I hate that I'm at 50% of your asking. Maybe we could do some kind of terms, and we can get, I could even do a little bit above what you're asking if you do some seller financing. And don't just call them and say I could do 120 or here's my offer, right? Because then
I'm a numbers guy. I'm an engineer, software, and how do you say not software, Excel spreadsheet geek. So the numbers, I go through them, and I like to explain where they're coming from. So the 120 came from just to understand the math, right? I'm learning.
I did a 40% expense ratio, which is usually 30 is pretty standard, but I did 40 because of the lights and water.
Put the calculator up, McKenna.
I just did it on my phone. I don't have a calculator on.
You have one on your computer?
Not a good one.
We don't have a deal calculator spreadsheet?
No calculator. Hold on.
So. Nothing. I mean, it's
that's what happens when you buy Windows computers. You get stuck in the freaking 80s.
Windows computers. My goodness.
But Elliot, it's just the 330.
What kind of home were you raised in, man?
Apparently, there was no water or light in that house.
The landlord wasn't paying for the water and the lights, so I didn't get it.
How do we know?
That was all on paper. Yeah, you had a pen and pad, right?
I did. Yeah, I got my notebook here. Yeah, man. I think that. So I took 330. I did a 40% expense ratio. That leaves you 60% of the money, right? So you do 330 times 0.6 times 12. That gives you your yearly profit. And then you just, if you want a 20% return, you would divide by 0.2.
Here, you want to go through it again?
Yeah, 330.
330
times 0.6.
No.
3,300, right?
Yeah,
3,300.
3,300
times 0.6. So this is your monthly expected profit. Then and this is just cash, times 12. So this is what you expect to make a year. Then divide by 0.2.
Okay, so you'd be in that 20%.
20% return on $118,800.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
And then you're going to give away half of that, right, to the investor. So really, you're getting 10% and they're getting 10%.
Hey guys, I'm leaving. Talk to you later. Remember tomorrow, deal makers at 5. I'm gonna be there making live calls. Bring your deals.
Are you
It's not
calling
deal
that
makers.
too? What do
You
you
can't call it
them?
deal makers. Can't take
Finders. Finder. I'm sorry, I forgot about it.
Okay, good.
Finders meeting. It's Deal Finders on Wednesday at 5. Don't miss it. I'm gonna call your leads. I'll call my leads. We'll call everyone.
I'm going to put the
deal
link to
makers
that
again.
in
We'll
the chat
cancel
here,
you.
guys. If you want to come, if you want to see Emmanuel make money in person, I'm going to put the link right here.
Hey guys, Emmanuel did his first deal. He sold a house for me,
You're in the camera. Get out the way.
and and he's got like 2 or 3 more coming next.
Get outta
week.
here.
So,
Yeah.
oh, you're good. You're good,
All right, Elliot. Thanks for coming on, man.
Got it. Thanks, guys.
Elliot. That was great. Listen, keep going. Keep looking
pushing.
for him, and you'll get there.
Make more. I know my offer sounds low, but if you make that offer 10 times a week, someone's going to say yes. And
I
then you're
appreciate
Yeah,
that.
and it also just makes the seller financing so much easier. So, and the key things that I would talk about if I'm talking to the seller, if you can get to the seller instead of the realtor, you could talk about the cash on cash return. You can talk about the fact that they don't have the meters, and so it's going to be very hard for the banks to finance it. You can talk about the fact that it's 7 units, so it doesn't fit in the box. And on the island of Puerto Rico, banks really don't lend on that stuff. And then it makes people become more interested in being the bank.
Yep. All right,
And
guys, we're
she's
gonna
also
go.
been a landlord for a long time, so she's used to getting paid. So to think that she's going to continue to get monthly payments, plus you're going to give her a down payment, that's not a bad deal for someone like her who's already a landlord.
Yep, we're gonna bring on Mario, and then we're gonna bring on Nelson.
I want to ask
Mario,
you
you
something
ready to
real quick.
go? Nelson,
All right.
you're ready after?
I think you should throw him in there.
Hey, Mario, you're on mute. You got to unmute, Mario.
Yeah, there you go. How about now?
Good. Well,
Good now?
Yeah, we can hear you, Mario.
awesome.
All right.
So Mario texted me about his deal before here, guys. This is what I have. It is, let me pull it up. It is a 5-unit. The price is $240,000. The rehab is $40K, and the potential rent is $4,000 a month. Man, that sounds exactly what Elliot was just talking about, huh?
It's a pretty similar
Does
deal.
it have a commercial unit?
No,
No,
It's in
commercial.
Carolina, right? What part of Carolina, Mario?
all residential. It's real close to the Costco.
Yeah, right by Costco. A really good area.
And I've
Yep.
I've got a picture here. Let me pull it up. This is the Google Street View of the property. It's a good-looking house, 5 units. So Mario, I think I don't know if you were listening when Elliot was up. I immediately think that it's probably a very similar thought process. What did you offer on this?
Well, originally, I think they were asking about $275, but apparently the guy who bought it was I don't know. He ran out of money and he just wants to get rid of it.
Okay. Did you make an offer or no?
Yeah, I started about 250. He came down to I countered at 225, and then he said 240.
Okay. Are you planning to take it?
I'm thinking about it.
Is it cash flowing right now? How much is it
No,
making?
no. It's empty.
It's empty. Okay.
Hmm.
And how are you planning to pay for it?
It still needs a little bit of work. Yeah, I was hoping to maybe get a partner. I was talking to Robbie earlier about it.
Are you thinking debt or equity?
I don't know.
Well,
Either one.
he'd like an equity partner, McKenna. And so we talked about a couple of things because it doesn't have 5 meters, right? So even though we're calling it a 5 unit, it could be turned into a 4 unit, which would make it more feasible to borrow money from the bank. And is it in good enough shape right now, Mario, that you could just make your 240 offer subject to bank financing?
Not sure I understand the question.
So in order for a house to get financing from the bank, it needs to be in a certain condition. The roof needs to be good.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The stage
No,
of the
no,
air
no,
conditioning, electrical, plumbing. The
No.
the type of major. It's not in good enough condition for that.
no, no.
Okay. Well,
I
so
think
on
they're
your
all
40,000
fine.
rehab, what are you planning to do? That's a roof. What else?
No.
Electrical or-
Probably needs like terminación. I'm not sure how you say it in English. Finishing touches. I'm sure it needs a little bit of plumbing because I saw some exposed tubes right in the front, right in the carport in the entrance. Yeah, like just like the finishing touches. I mean,
Do you have
the
any other
food-
photos of it, Mario?
No.
I think your renovation number is a little low, and I think your offer is high. Just not doing any numbers right now. If it's vacant, does it have power? Does it have water? Did you check any of that?
I'm sorry. Does it have what?
Power and water?
No.
So you don't even know if the electric or the water's working.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think you're asking way too much. I mean, you're giving them too much without knowing enough.
And you think that they would rent for 4,000 a month when
Yeah.
they're rented?
Total
Okay.
total $4,000 a month, fully occupied.
Mhm.
Well, if we did a similar math equation that we just did for Elliot, what would I pay for something that was making 4,000 a month? I'm going to do that 40% expense ratio because we have to pay for the power and water. So that would be 2,400 a month in profit, which is 28,800 a year. If I'm going to go raise capital, Mario, with an equity partner, let's just say they need to make 10%. Again, I think 10% is maybe a little bit low, but at least double-digit returns. So we need to make 20%. Then I would be buying it for 144,000 or less. Is kind of where I'd start. The way that I think this deal probably works best for you, though, is doing just what Elliot is doing and make that offer of honestly like 125 because I'm sorry, 144, and then you need to put money into the renovation. So
Yeah, 100.
yeah, 100, maybe even less. Like let's say if it was only a $40,000 or 40,000 renovation, it would be 100. If it's more than that, you might need to be at like 80, but it just depends on the quotes you get from contractors.
Right.
So I would make that offer. I would say, hey, I could pay you 90,000 for this building cash because I need to come in and I need to spend 60 grand on renovating it. And I'm only going to make this much in rent. And I have to pay my investors. Or I'd be willing to do seller financing. I'll give you 10,000 down. I'm going to put another 40 into it or 60 into it in reno is what you're telling them. So you're all in for 70. Oh, man, even that's expensive to make 4,000 a month. It's a good deal, but so what would you guys offer seller financing?
So you're gonna have 70 grand in it, and
you're making 4,000
10%.
a month times that 40% expense ratio. Let's say your payment's another $700. So you're making 1,700. That would bring a $20,000 profit.
that's a 30% return on 70 grand.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and that's now something again that you could raise money in the community. You could raise the $70,000 likely, right? So someone puts up 70,000, they're going to get a 15% return. There's going to be rent increases over time. Every dollar that you pay to the seller comes off of what you owe him, and then you'd have a balloon payment in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the seller's never going to accept $90,000, right?
No.
We know that. We make that offer as an anchor to find motivation and to try to talk about with the seller, hey, you want this amount of money, but who's going to be able to pay you that? Because unless it's someone who's got all cash that's willing to come in, fix the place up, then rent it out and let their money make
Nothing.
8% a year,
Yeah.
you're not selling it. You're just not getting that number. So you want that number. I get it. Here's how we structure it. And that's where you come in with the seller financing. And
Yep.
then again, the same thing as with Elliot's deal, the star of your deal becomes the seller financing that you're getting. And by the way, we're talking about making these deals work by getting 0% seller finance deals. If the
Yeah.
seller even wants 5 or 6%, it'll probably kill your deal again.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
And
All right.
and I know in both cases you want to bring something that's good enough to the community that someone's going to be willing to partner with you.
Right.
That's the key, right? And so it's going to be hard. Like and I think in both of these cases the offer was made too high. The anchor offer was drastically higher than what we would offer.
Mm-hmm.
Always make two offers: a ridiculous lowball offer, and then your seller finance offer. At least that's what I do.
Yeah.
I have a stupid cash
I
number.
think I would always make the ridiculous cash offer and wait.
Yeah.
And then let them come back. And so why do I do that? Because then they come down off of their price. Well, I can't take 90, but I'd take 210. And then I'd start my seller financed offer at their 210.
Yeah. I like
And
that.
then you give them the chance to come back and negotiate some interest and stuff like that.
Right.
Again, you guys, it takes making a ton of these offers, right? You're going to be told no again and again and again. People are going to tell you to go play in traffic and laugh at you, and it's
Yep.
it's not.
I
not
get yelled
super
at a lot.
fun. It's not super fun. Like it's not fun to be getting yelled at and all of that. But you know that when you get something accepted, you're going to make money on it. Your partners are going to make money on it, and that's what's super important.
Right. I'm sorry. Can you go over how I make the seller financing work again, please?
Yes.
Let me pull up the calculator on here.
So there is a calculator.
There's a calculator, but I didn't have it pulled up before.
Didn't want to use it earlier.
Let me share my screen here. Well, we just didn't need it earlier. All right. So this is my house flipping calculator. And if anybody wants a copy of this, just send me a message in Apex. I'm happy to send you a copy. It's got a deal tracker, which is actually very handy. You can have 1,000 different houses in here, and it'll go through. Let's use the deep dive calculator. So the rehab cost $43,000. We can ignore this. Let's use the other calculator. This is not the right calculator for this job.
You guys can not get this calculator.
You want to use this calculator. This would be better for seller financing. So I can send this out to people as well if they want a copy of this. Let's say the ARV is $300,000, currently valued at 90. Market rent is $4,000. Zestimate doesn't matter. Equity raise, if you're doing seller financing, you're going to raise all of that down payment and you're going to raise the renovation. So let's call that like 15,000 down plus the 40 or 50,000 need to renovate. So let's say 70,000. They get 50% of the equity. Purchase price, we could do. What were they asking, Mario? You said 240.
Yeah.
So purchase price 240. Our loan amount, that's what this one here is, would be. Well, if we're putting 15 down, then it'd be 225. And then we need to calculate out payments. I just use the mortgage calculator on calculator.net. This is how I get my payments, guys. So I go on here, I put in that 240 purchase. I'm doing 15,000 down. I do a 30-year AM, a 0% interest rate. I do not include taxes or costs. Boom. So my monthly payment is $625 a month over 30 years. So I would say, Mario, $625 a month with like a 6 or 7 year balloon. You get to negotiate that with the seller. So the payment is $625. Taxes and insurance, we'll say 150. Management we'll put at 10%. So if the rent was $4,000, it's $400 in management. You make $113.25 a month. And then we'll do as is at $100,000, which I think is kind of fair. ARV 310. So your loan amount is 225. Your estimated equity as is minus 195,000. Yeah. So even at this, I mean, you can't buy it at 250 if the as is that low, because you're putting that money in. I don't even know. What would you guys think a fair as is value is on this house? Is it 90, 80 grand? You guys are muted.
I think more. I'm guessing that it's.
So we bought.
If he was selling it to a retail buyer, it's 250 or so, and fixed up condition.
We bought
everything as is. It's
as is as
we
it
bought a
stands.
4-unit, probably in the same condition as this thing, for 140.
140.
And I would say that's where I would start my number, and then work from there.
Okay.
But
But then
250 for
we're
something that
better.
doesn't work,
And
it's
then
just
we
makes no
fixed
sense.
that one up, and that was in Vistamar, which is
Way
good
better
or
area.
a better area, and it still didn't appraise.
So, and you think
Exactly.
ARV is around 240,
No, 265.
265? Okay. So we're buying it for that 140 as is.
So
We're
you're
gonna
buying it at-
increase the value to 265.
Think about that, Mario. We got an appraisal for 265 on something that's fully fixed and cash flowing, and you're gonna pay 240 for something that's not doing anything.
Right.
So Mario, this deal would get your investor a 15.74% return with a 7-year balloon. How did I calculate these numbers and get to what I want to offer? I think this mortgage calculator is probably a little bit more helpful, but I put in the home price, I put in the down payment, and then I got this monthly payment over 30 years. That's how I like to amateurize it. You could do a straight line. Well, this is a straight line for 30 years. You could do a straight line of 7 years if you wanted. So that would
give you a
be,
much higher monthly payment.
but you'd be out of it in 7 years. That would be $2,600 a month in payments if you did straight line. That's pretty expensive. I like a 30-year AM. Anyways, though, if you were able to get that deal, 240, 0%, 15,000 down, you're going to come in and spend another 50,000 on renovation to force up the value. Then your investor makes 15%, and that's probably a deal you can raise money on.
Okay. All right.
That's tough. All right, man. Any questions?
Nope. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Good luck, Mario.
Thank you.
Mario, don't stop looking. We're gonna get one.
Yeah. Keep making offers. That's the thing. Make offers every day.
But make your low offer that you start with way lower. You're not offending anybody right now. You need to start offending people, Mario.
It is true. You need people to hang up on you.
Yeah, that's true. I think half of the people at least should be just like, I can't believe you would offer me that. I would never.
Yeah, if they don't hang up at least once or twice,
I
a week,
would never
more.
take that offer. Okay, now we're in the right ballpark.
You
and
know what
that's
I
not
like
the
to
right
do, guys?
seller.
I make the offer. They hang up on me. I call them back and I go, "Hey, I think we got disconnected." And then we continue talking, and they'll be like, "Oh, I was just so mad about the offer." I'm like, "Well, here's how I got there."
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
one.
guys. Thanks.
Nelson. Hey, man, how's it going? Hope you're on mute too.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, Nelson.
What's going on?
Hey guys, how's everything? I
Good.
remember you guys. We met in Rio Piedras. How's the multifamily in Rio Piedras doing? Santa Rita.
It's
That's doing well.
it's good. We've completed the renovation, and hopefully we're going to get an offer on it today.
Yeah.
We think we are.
Nice,
So,
nice.
Nelson
We had
has a
another
pretty-
one over there in Rio Piedras.
Well,
that
you went
we-
to look
that
at
we
the 5
sold.
unit.
Yeah, it was actually the 9 unit. It was 2
Oh
buildings.
yeah,
and
so we
4
sold the
buildings.
4 unit, and we still have the 5 unit now.
That was the one on the right. Yeah, okay, nice.
Yeah. Yep, we have the
You
one on
gave
the
me a
right.
quote for that, did you?
Huh?
You did. Nelson's a contractor, by the way, guys. If you're looking for a good one.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah, we do that. We do that as well.
You're gonna get very popular if you tell people you'll do good work. It's
Yeah, I
It's
got
a
my
huge
group of
need in the
guys.
community.
They do their work. But even I'm
And
bringing
Nelson,
this
did you
deal
just
because-
join us today in Apex?
Huh?
You
Yeah,
just joined
today.
Apex today? Welcome.
Yeah,
Good
I
to see you
called him
again.
on the phone 5 minutes before we started because Mikey told me he had a deal. So I'm like, "Oh, you got to come on the show."
And you sold your
Nice.
penthouse, right?
Yeah, I did. Thank you. I remember I told you about that.
Yeah.
And I-
You just had a baby too. I remember.
I
That's
went and
why.
looked at your
Yeah.
penthouse for a Don, right, Nelson?
Oh yes, that's
Yes.
how I met Robert.
That's
Yes, and
right.
that's
I
how
remember
met
you
guys.
had a
And
really
on the
nice
phone,
penthouse with the
Robert
great views
Pearson,
and
The
stuff.
beautiful place.
Yeah, I remember.
my apartment. Yeah,
And I think your wife was pregnant at the time. Yeah.
she was. Now Mauro is turning 2 next month. So
Wow.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Congrats.
Yeah.
So Nelson has a deal under contract in downtown San Juan. What neighborhood is it in?
So it's
Well, I'll let you
Coupé.
take it away.
Coupé. The area is called El Cinco, but I just refer to it as Coupé. It's right next to well, people that have known Puerto Rico for a while, the La Electronica building, where Logan's Pub used to be, well, it's right next to where the Department of Health has their building. The 9/11 building is being remodeled right across the street from this building. So there's a few options, opportunity right on the table. I sent Makina the sorry guys, my camera's over here, but my main screen is over here, so that's why you
I'm
guys
doing the same
see
thing
me
right now.
changing.
That's all right. Don't worry.
I sent Makina one picture and the address. I have.
Do you have GPS coordinates? That address didn't pull up for me.
That's fine. Well, you can Google in Google Maps. You can just put number 4 Calle Detroit, and it'll show San Juan, and it'll just come up.
This one here?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. So this is a commercial building or residential?
Yeah, it's a commercial building, zoned commercial, but it's intermediate, so commercial intermediate. So the top floor is divided into apartments, but there's no. So okay, to the left there, go a little backwards. It's in that street, and it's that second house. There you go. That's the
Yeah,
one
right there. Okay, it looks like it'd be
Looks like a good
pretty
neighborhood.
residential. Well, I guess this street is all commercial.
It's all commercial. That
Oh,
street
right
is
next to
all
the
commercial.
gym.
That right now, it's called BioWare. It's a company that does. They're literally the backdoor neighbors. It's a company that does the to-go food containers, the sustainable ones, not the foam ones.
Okay.
And then you have a few buildings around it. The building next to it is an insurance company. Right across the street from it, corners, and the two corners facing the main avenida are owned by Health.
In the email.
PHM. These are, ¿cómo se llama eso? Administrador de plan médico. Health Insurance Administrator, basically.
Administrator.
And then you got the Department of Health at the top corner of the street, and that tall building that was on the street view there, 6-story building. That building is being renovated to house the 9/11 offices.
Okay.
So
I love when they're renovating big buildings next to my building.
right next door.
Always very nice. So what is the deal on this one? You told me you're thinking about buying it. You're thinking about wholesaling it. What are you purchasing it for? Does it need work? And what's your exit plan on this?
So it needs work. I was thinking of doing and I'm currently under the contractor quoting phase. Obviously, I do some of the work, but my guys can't do everything. So I'm outsourcing some electricity, for example, and the windows. And the guys that I usually use for that are kind of tied up right now. So I'm sourcing a little bit all over, and I'm trying to see if there's a wholesale deal out there. Right. I have video of the 2 floors of the building. It's a 3,650 square foot building. I believe it's somewhere around the 450 meter lot, meter. I can show the video of the inside of the building right now if you guys want. But I'm looking for a wholesale deal. 380, I believe, is a good number.
Okay. So I can buy this today for $380,000. What do I do with it? I turn it into a business, you think?
So you can. I have 2 options for it. One was a 9-unit building, which is 9 studio apartments.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of those, but you can. That's one of the options, and the other one is the bottom unit is very well it can be a commercial building, a commercial space in the bottom unit, and the top unit can be divided into 4 residential apartments.
Okay.
So as a garage for that bottom unit as well, I was thinking for that bottom unit something along the medical industry, so a doctor or something like that. And then the top 4, I would say they could go for 1,000 or 1,200. Basically that top floor would net around $3,500 to $4,000 a month after renovations. This is all obviously.
Yeah. So 4 residential apartments.
Yes.
You said 1-bedroom apartments?
Yes, 1-bedroom apartments,
Okay.
and one of them would be a studio.
The 3
I have the drawings for that. How that will look.
So what would your total monthly rents be?
8,000 or 7,500.
8,000. Okay.
And then the doctor's office, would that be triple net, or would that be? Are you paying insurance, taxes, electrical?
No, that would be net. I'm not paying for any of that. Maybe just general insurance, but not electric, not any of that. On the renovation, I have not on this drawing that I can show you here, but the plan with the electrician is to install 5 meters, one for the commercial space, and then the other 4 for the apartments. So the apartments would have their own meters and everything.
Their own meters.
How much do you think renovation is going to cost?
Well, I budgeted around 100K, but it might go over that.
That's with
and-
materials or it's just labor?
So labor, that's mostly, it has some material in there. Remember I tell you I deal with construction materials. But let's say 150 max with materials. Let's say roof sealing, those are the most expensive material, the paint, and the windows, which is.
Well, Nelson, if someone wanted to buy this, would you be willing to sell it to them and be the contractor on it for 100?
That could, yeah. I mean, yeah, I could.
So you'd make your assignment fee totally separate, and you're agreeing to do the work for 100.
Yeah, be like a project manager. Yeah, definitely, I can do that.
Yeah, and that'd be labor and materials. Everything is 100. You think that's?
Maybe I would go up to 120, 130. It's just the window part is it's a lot. Obviously, it depends on that person. If you want to, do the back windows, the rear part of the building, and just regular Miami style, or if you want to do it, keep it the same look.
So 130K plus 380. So they're all in is, You think that'd be easy math? 410, 510. So someone could pay $510,000 today in order to get rents of $8,000, let's call it. The doctor's office is paying all expenses for themselves, but then the $3,000 on the top floor probably has some management expenses. Let's use a 30% expense ratio on that for maintenance and sorry, I've got a dog yelling at me. Hey, Bubbo. So maintenance and
Vacancy, maintenance,
vacancies.
all of it.
Thank you. Yeah. So that'd be 2,100 on top in profit, plus the 5,000 you think you're netting from the doctors. That would bring our total profit to 7,100 a month times 12. That's 85,000 a year in profit. Divided by that 510 we came up with. That's
18%.
a 16.7% cash on cash return if someone had all cash to pay for that deal. That's the best deal we've had of the day.
And it's the most likely one to get sold as well, right? Like, so you could sell it to the doctor.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And
then-
they don't live in, they have their office there, and then the rest of the stuff that they rent out is a bonus for them.
profit for them.
Yep.
That
While their practice is making, their usual income.
and the area there
I'll
are
let
other
you
doctors'
doctors do it.
offices. I mean, that's going to be an area that the doctors would like, I think, right?
So you have some, it's not a lot, but you have a lot of firms also around, and you have that company that literally manages. You have two companies that manage health insurance companies. The side back, diagonal back neighbor, which they're building a parking. ¿Cómo se dice? Escape my mind. Un multipiso. Multiple story parking structure.
Yeah.
So that's additional value.
Does the building have parking as well for the doctor's office?
No, but there's a building not right next to it, but the second one down, which is the corner building for of that street. I know the owners. They also own the building across the street from that one on the right, and the one right next to that one, which is diagonal from this building. And they say that I was in conversation with them, and the parking that they have for that one building is very empty. So I could rent out. I'm thinking maybe renting out a few parking spaces for employees, especially for the doctor, and leaving just the parking space right in front of the property just for patients and upstairs residents.
And are you looking to wholesale it, or are you looking to take it down and then?
He's looking to wholesale it.
I'm looking
for
to
the
wholesale. I
88.
think I'm a little bit over. And if I take this project on my own, and that's why I'm looking to wholesale it.
And beyond wholesale it, guys, he's already agreed to do the work for a fixed one.
Yeah, I basically got a
I
bunch
bullied
of
him into
quotes and infrastructure already in place. It's just a cash flow detail on my end right now. But right now I'm in the stage of putting on the gloves with the third party contractors and the bank, but it's a little bit challenging. And yeah, basically that's what I'm looking to see if somebody is interested in this deal. I can show the drawings. Can I present?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Hit present screen and it should let you share.
All right, let me go here.
Would you be interested in taking this down yourself if you had financing, a hard money lender or an equity partner? Or do you not want to manage it?
It depends on the offer that I get. I don't want to. So you did the exercise for the profitability a little bit ago. That was what, 4,000 at the end of the year, or at the end of the month after
expenses paid.
After expenses, everything was 4,000 or 5,000. Was divided by 2 is 2,500 basically.
Yeah, I came up with 7,100 if we got.
Yeah, but a hard money
$5,000.
would be just you.
Yeah,
You
hard
take
money
out,
would be just
you take a loan out, and then you're the only one in the deal. just have to
Oh, okay.
service your law.
Yeah, but a hard money deal would be expensive on that.
I know, but I'm just
Yeah, you
explaining
would need
that's
to
my
know
other,
that,
like
yeah.
an equity
Hard
partner.
money deal's gonna be
hard
very
money.
expensive.
Yeah.
But a hard money could get you to you could purchase it yourself, flip it, and then try and sell it on the back end. I don't know if that's better though.
Or go to
No,
the
so
bank
I'm
after
not-
you fix it.
I
I'm
think
gonna-
that is
yeah,
try to
I'm gonna put
refinance
this
it.
number out there as well. The realtor that's closing this deal, he confirmed. He told me, Nelson, if when you remodel this house, if I don't sell it for 650 or over, I don't take any commission. I'm not going to charge you commission.
Of course, because you can't sell it. I'm not charging you a thing.
I'm not charging you anything if I don't sell anything over 650 when it's remodeled. And I'm
But
like,
you get nothing either.
Oh, that's good.
All right, let me present the slides. Yeah, let me, no slides. Wait.
I really like the plan of selling to a doctor. That seems like it could be a really.
I think that's
good way
who
to do
you
this.
wholesale to. How do you
Yeah.
find that doctor?
I've been trying to sell to a doctor, Santa Rita, forever.
Yeah.
Santa Rita, but are you trying to put
Uh,
a doctor's office
um,
there?
You know what you do?
No, but a doctor
You,
needs
you
to park
do what
his money
Drew
somewhere.
Schaffner does. Drew Schaffner's my buddy here in Orlando, and he is a commercial real estate agent helping businesses find commercial property. When he is looking for a specific type of business, he goes in person to every single business owner of that type. He'll do this over 2 or 3 days, and he'll just walk in and say, "Hey, my name's Drew. Are you looking for a new location?" And he will just go to 100 businesses. That's how I would find a doctor that's looking to do this.
I
Spend
actually
a
have
weekend going to
contact
doctor.
with a realtor that has a doctor for a client, a pathologist, and he's looking for a spot. Obviously, the not the deal breaker, but the deal stops looking sexy when I show them the rundown building, right?
But if you tag on,
but
that
if you
you're
have
willing to
rendering-
Yeah,
work-
you're going to share the drawings, though. Let's see. The
Yeah,
renderings.
that's. I'm sorry, guys. I'm looking.
As long as you have
upload it, I can
rendering,
just share
then
my
you can
screen.
tell them I could do the job. They'll
I mean, you have such a
Changes,
huge
I think.
advantage that you can say, "Hey, look at this ugly building. Look at how beautiful it could be, and I can build it for you."
Yeah,
Yep.
that is
Yep.
sweet.
Even if it's not actually Nelson who's building it, but Nelson
But Nelson's making sure it gets done.
making sure it gets done. Yeah.
Exactly. How do I? Sorry, guys. I'm having a little. Like that. Share. Okay, there we go. All right.
We're gonna have to do a module just to learn how to use StreamYard. Oh,
There we go.
And,
So we're-
and tell people
we're
not
there?
to call during the.
All right, you're sharing now.
Okay. So this is. All right, I'm just going full screen. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's good as
All
it
right.
can be.
What happened?
So this is first floor, right? Ground level. Door is right here, current door. So this would be, remember this is for doctors, right? So this would be, in this entire area would be for, we'll operate in just an open space area.
Okay.
Right here would be the reception. You see these windows right here, these openings. And these would be the lobby or waiting area, this L-shaped area right here. This big space is the garage, which I'm thinking of giving the tenant this doctor, right?
We lost your mouse. Did
So they
your
can
mouse?
go in. This is a door right here. So you can go in, you can arrive to your office early in the morning.
Nelson, we can't see your mouse. Did
Yeah,
you
your
change
your
the
mouse
screen?
disappeared.
Right here? You see
There
that?
you go.
Now we see
Okay.
it.
So this is a door that connects the this garage. So I'm thinking just giving this space to the doctor, so he can park his car right here and just go in and good morning, blah blah, and then they basically go to his office. This would right here would be a lunchroom. Why? Because we have a bathroom here. This could be a billing area or some type of,
Office.
account bookkeeping or something. And this could be the doctor's main office, right? Like where his desk is a private office because it has a little closet or storage area here and a private bathroom. Also has an an independent access through the side of the building here, and you can leave the side of the building through this way out as a gate. So that's first floor, and then this would be the second floor, right? So we go up the stairway on through the garage.
So if he had tenants, they would need to go. They get into their house through the garage.
Yeah, so the garage is this wide, and then there's this wall which is non-structural. That I'm thinking of opening up a
walkway.
space, walking space, and just going this way straight. This is a window here, or breeze blocks are here. And you can just connect this way, right? And then we would go head up to the second floor, which is over here. I guess these are the stairways coming up, and right, you would get to this mezzanine, right? This top area right here. Yeah, sorry, I'm clicking all over the place. This is where you would get to, and this is the entrance. This hallway right here is the entrance to all the apartments. So right here, you would have the first apartment to your left when you walk in. This is the door. This right here is the door. You walk in, you have a kitchen here, and you have a bathroom over here, which is not disclosed in this drawing specifically. And then you have a bedroom right here. This is the front of the building. Right, just so we're all located on the same space.
Yep.
And then this is right here. We continue this hallway. You have this apartment, this long apartment, which in the unit below is the long operation or business area.
Patient rooms.
Bathroom right here, and then this would be the area for the kitchen. You see all the measurements right here. And then we would go out of this apartment, this is the door right here for this apartment, and then you cross the hall to this studio apartment, which is yay big. It has a really big window on facing the outside, so there's a lot of clarity coming in. That they all do actually. It's a really the sunlight goes in pretty well. So this is the bathroom for that unit,
And that's the studio.
and this is the studio. I mean, it's like an L.
Yeah.
It goes like this, but this part right here shouldn't be included. This part is for the other apartment. So we leave this apartment through this door, and then we go in through the last apartment through this door. And then this last apartment is basically this entire area. Well, this part, you go in through here. My bad, I'm looking all over. You get in through here, and you get this space or a kitchen right here, and then dining table or stuff like that. And then this back part is the bedroom and the bathroom, and then you got a balcony out here. This is a balcony.
Great. Do you have
So
renderings of this?
That's
Do you have renderings?
Like what it's going to look
No.
like, the outside of the building, a rendering.
I have one option that it's going to look like. Let me pull it up. I gotta find it on my email.
Yeah, when you're trying to sell to these guys, like the floor plans are nice, but if you can show them like something that it will visually appeal to them, that's where you're gonna sell them better.
I agree.
I mean,
Yeah, and you spent the money on the drawings,
Yeah,
or on the diagram.
well, he's an architect.
The architects, but to have the mock-up of what it's going to look like from the facade.
Yeah.
That's
where you can really spend a couple $100, and with that, you'll be
I
able
didn't
to wow.
catch that. My wife is.
Oh, that's true. His wife was.
My wife is. I'm.
Yeah. That must be nice.
You
You guys have
Does she
Yeah.
charge you $30,000 too?
She can do the architectural, and then you can build it. You guys got a good team.
Yeah, that's the combo part.
That's awesome.
Hey, you went back on mute, Nelson. So, hey, Nelson, you're back on mute. Am I on mute? Nope, I'm not.
Well, guys, while he does whatever he's doing, he's
I'm
looking for
not
that
sure why I
rendering.
got muted.
um,
My bad.
Let us know in the comments what you're liking about these deals. Which is your favorite? So far, McKenna loves this deal.
I think, Nelson, the way that I would approach this if I had this under contract is I would go and find doctors that could use the bottom space, that have made doctors have money, and there's a doctor out there that will want this space for practice.
Yeah.
Make sure you have a rendering of the outside. I think even though the building's not nice now, if you can show them the vision visually, it's not that hard to sell.
And it's not an ugly building now. I mean, it's
not.
distressed, but it
Yeah.
definitely looks like it's going to be a good looking building. And then the doctor can sort of office hack it. You know, he has his office downstairs. He rents out the upstairs with long-term rents, and that's tax-free money. And a doctor's going to love that, right? They're going to be like, oh, I don't have to, because the doctors are paying taxes generally through the nose.
Yep.
So it'll be nice that they can rent that stuff upstairs long term and get that cash flow rent or tax free. Yeah.
Does anybody watching this have a doctor that they know of in San Juan that might be interested in this kind of deal?
Emmanuel had to leave, but I bet Emmanuel would be very interested in talking to Nelson and helping to try and find a buyer too.
I think so too. Why don't we have Emmanuel reach out to Nelson?
I think it's a good idea.
And then we have the rendering here.
That's a
Ah, there you
rendering
go. Look at that. That's what it's going to
Something
look. That's what
that
we're
could
talking
look
about.
like-
That's what you're gonna sell them with.
Yep.
And to be
That's
honest, I'm not really.
sold.
I'm not a fan of it. I think it could be way better, but
I think it could be better too, but it's still
That's a good start.
That's a good
It's
start.
You can
something,
start-
yeah, it's
you can start
something. I was-
showing
I was
that
picturing
to
something
people.
with glass.
And you only
Glass.
have 45 more days, right? So
Yeah, you can start showing that to people and be
it's
like,
more important to have these conversations tomorrow than it is to spend 2 weeks getting the perfect rendering.
and the other thing is, if you're gonna stay on as the GC, you can tell them like, look, this is just a rendering. We can put bigger windows here. We could do this. We could do that. You know,
You want to make that better? Stick that thing in ChatGPT and tell it to make it prettier.
Yeah, don't tell
Yeah.
my wife.
I mean,
Oh yeah, but
ChatGPT
definitely, yeah,
will-
we played around with that. The
yeah, it's
images
pretty
are
good.
amazing. Will come out of there.
So I
but
think
yeah,
that
that's basically. I have videos of the current, current state of the property. If you guys are interested, or the community is interested in watching them for wholesale purposes,
I would make a post in Apex and in the free community with your contact information, the videos, and all of the numbers we talked about before as well. You know, the 380 purchase plus whatever you're willing to do the work for.
Is 380 including your wholesale fee?
It
Or
is.
you-
Yeah.
It is. Okay. Okay.
I made sure to tell them, hey, make sure you include the fee.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's always a bummer when we're like talking numbers and they're like, oh yeah, I'm wholesaling it and it needs to be 420.
Yeah, it needs to go over that. It needs to be over with the number I told you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nelson, how can people reach out to you about this if someone was interested that's watching?
Well, my phone number is, my cell phone is 787-404. I'm gonna put it on the chat right here. 404-0011. Text, WhatsApp, however is your preferred method of communication. I'll put my email on there as well.
Perfect.
And make that post inside of Apex and yeah, the free community as well, but Apex is probably where you're going to find the people. Maybe there's some people in there that could help you to find a buyer and you guys do a quick flip partnership.
Yeah, split the fee, or you can increase the fee to $390, and I don't know. There's a lot of ways to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I can. It's negotiable, the fee. It's
Yeah.
Especially if the person the buyer is interested in me doing the renovations for them, then yeah, that's
Yeah.
Beyond Nelson, I think that is a selling point. That if the option was I can buy it for $350 and I don't get the contractor, or I can pay 380 and I get the contractor guaranteeing it.
With a fixed price.
With a
Yeah.
fixed price, I
Knowing
would
it,
pay
yeah.
more money.
Exactly. Yeah, well, yeah, you guys know the headaches of dealing with this, so
Yes,
Yeah.
that is worth a lot, and I think that's a big component of you being able to sell this. Not that it's a bad deal, because I think that 17% return just for an investor cash is not bad. Probably if I was a cash buyer, I'd want to be all in a little bit less than where you're at. But if you can finance it, if you can use the space like a doctor can, there's a lot of ways to make those returns very attractive. Man, thanks for bringing this deal. I'm glad we were able to get you in here.
Yeah,
no, thank
and-
you
and-
for
Good to see you again, man.
same
It's
over
a
here.
small
I'm-
island, huh?
Let's connect.
Yeah, I'm part of the
Hey, you want to go
community now,
quote
definitely.
the 5-unit Rio Piedras?
Well, let me deal with this one first.
All right.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, thank you guys.
Have a
Good
good
luck.
night, Nelson. Thanks, man.
I like that one.
That was the best project so far.
So
Guys,
is that,
reach out to Nelson.
is that our last one of the night?
That's our last one of the night.
Well,
If
this
you
was
guys
better
want
than
to be
last
on
week.
this
We're getting
show-
better at this. You know, one of these days we're gonna really dial this in. But I liked it.
If you want to be on the show next week, I just put the link in the chat here. You can bring your deal up. You just Nelson, for example, joined 5 minutes before the stream started, and he was presenting today. So if you want to be on this show next week, click the link. Anything else before we go, guys? We got deal finders tomorrow. We've got
Is that at 5 o'clock with Emmanuel?
Yep.
Are we doing our breakout thing tomorrow, McKenna?
Yeah, we haven't done anything about it, but yes, we've got our funders meeting at 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay.
I know that I need to reach out to some of you funders that I've talked to. And then, yeah, we'll go from there.
And then on Thursday night, we are going to do the masterclass on notes, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Mike Rusica.
Mike Ruska is going to come on, and he's going to teach us how to sell partial notes, how to create notes. It's a really powerful tool, guys. If you own any real estate, you can sell it using seller financing, get the down payment, get a huge chunk of money, and then in 5 years, you get to still own the note. I mean, it is a really powerful tool. You can be like 60, 70% out of a house using this method and still own the note. I mean, it's pretty spectacular.
It's very cool.
Spectacular.
Very, very cool. And McKenna and Adon and I are all kind of
Geeking out about it over
deep
here.
diving into it. Yeah, I'd say that geeking out is a good thing. I'm looking forward to the Thursday night class with Mike, and then if that doesn't give us enough, we'll keep the deep dive going.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean-
Anytime I find some other way to make money in real estate, it always gets me super excited. So this is our new thing. This is our new shiny object.
Yeah. At
The
7
new
o'clock
toy.
in the morning, we're talking about notes.
Yeah, the new toy.
We're like, but what if we do this? I think we could do that.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night.